Good morning, SEAL audience. I am Cage, the Caged Reaper, here with CCK Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles with a couple of games for you this morning. We've got one game down in Demacia to start us off between Anarchy Purple and Unfinished Business. After them, we're rolling into Anarchy Navy versus the Dandelion Knights, and we'll wrap up the two of us with Dream Daddies and Team Billy, but stick around because I know there's more on after us.
Yes, sir.
How you doing this morning, Roscoe?
Not too bad. Got the coffee in me. I'm ready to watch some exciting games here. Especially pumped for the Shurima games.
Oh man, Shurima games are always wild for me because I feel like it's the Ionian division, but minus the super tryhardness. Wacky stuff in that division.
Yes, chaos does ensue. But we're going into a Demacia game here, so.
So on the side of Unfinished Business, it looks like we've got Stevo up in top lane, Bemos in the jungle, Reckless in mid, Midnight Heart on ADC, and Autumn Gamer in support. And then on the side of Unfinished Business, we've got Shadow Claws top lane, Respected Bigfoot in the jungle, Creek mid lane, Nikunya in ADC, and Germproof on support.
Very nice. Yeah, Anarchy definitely has some very interesting teams. I always say that it's always fun watching Anarchy games because their coordination is always top tier. You can definitely tell that these guys get a lot of practice in, and just looking at the stats here, Anarchy, obviously the stats are a little bit ahead of us, but they have some really nice KDAs. The lowest one I'm seeing here is 4.5, so really clean play coming out of Anarchy Purple.
The Anarchy teams are always really well coordinated. I'm sure that it helps having a bit of a bigger parent organization and backing to help keep you in line, help you figure out what you're going to be doing and playing. I know we don't have pro drafts for today, so I'm going to run through what we're going to be seeing in just a second real quick. On the side of Unfinished Business, we're going to have a Kled in the top lane, Volibear, may he rest in peace, in the jungle, Galio mid lane, Jinx ADC, and a Tom Kench support. To me, that looks like a pretty traditional protect the ADC comp. I feel like they're kind of dependent on that Jinx to get going, otherwise they don't have a whole lot else on that team.
Yeah, Jinx is definitely their scaling here on the side of Unfinished Business. Definitely a little bit of a press R comp. You've got a little bit of a wombo coming in with the Kled and the Volibear. Obviously Kled ulting in the Volibear with a Galio coming in on top, and then it's all peel from there for the Jinx.
And then on the other side from Anarchy, we've got Set up in the top lane, Kanye in the jungle, Syndra mid, Kaisa ADC with a Nautilus support. Now, this to me looks a little bit more like that traditional front to back. They want to just fight you as a team, put themselves together, and try to just shove it down your base.
Yeah, definitely seeing some really nice. We like you said, we don't really have the pro draft, so it's hard to see like when these things were drafted. But Set is fantastic counter engage. So playing right into the hands of Anarchy here. Unfortunately, did the draft of Unfinished Business. So yeah, we're gonna be looking for Set to counter these Kled engages, maybe even toss a Galio or two, and then it's all follow up from there. So really good comps out of both teams, though.
They definitely picked the identity that they wanted to have for the game, and it'll really just matter kind of how they stack up and how it executes into each other. I'm kind of excited to see what happens. You think we're going to see a red cane or a blue cane?
Looking at unfinished business, I would be surprised if he goes blue Kane, unless he's literally planning on only targeting the Jinx, because there's a lot of beef here on the side of unfinished business. So red Kane would definitely be the stronger option in my opinion.
I tend to agree, but I always gotta advocate for that blue Kane, especially because if they delete Jinx, there's not much else going on that team.
That is true. Although Galio, don't sleep on the Galio. Galio can definitely pump out the DPS, especially with his like 4 consecutive buffs.
I mean, as a resident Ionian mid laner who plays Galio, the damage just isn't there. It's enough that you can sleep on it and it'll catch you in lane, but after level 11, there's just not. It won't hold up in those team fights. Set'll just laugh at him the whole way as he punches him down.
Fair enough. All right, I think we've talked through these comps pretty well. Do we want to jump into game here?
Sounds good to me. Let's get this one rolling.
All right, early pings coming out here from the side of Anarchy Purple. Looking like they want to get a ward on the Raptors, possibly.
That's always one of those good early wards. I like to see when teams go set up an early vision line.
Oh, they're actually going through Tribrush now. So Nautilus, Anarchy really has a stronger invade. Oh,
this could be a fiesta.
30 seconds until minions.
Oh, look at this.
Oh no, Jinx is lagging behind.
They knew something's up. All right, engage on Nautilus. Guardian popped, ignite, flash over the wall from Nautilus. We've already got one body down, and Galio's resetting. They're still going. Set flashes in, flashing from the Kaisa, and another kill over to the side of Anarchy Purple. And they've got wards down on that red buff. Are they sticking around?
Wow, so
looks
really,
like they're all resetting.
Really unfortunate. Midnight Heart on the Jinx there is a little late to get out of the base, but I don't know that it really would have helped. If you're unfinished business here, you definitely do not want to be 5-stacking into a Nautilus. They do end up trading summoners. There's only one flash left on the side of Anarchy, but you definitely don't want Kane having first blood, and then Set getting that advantage in the top lane is going to be huge as well.
Well, and the other thing that we really got to think about is anytime you're laning against a Kane, you want to avoid any early confrontations with him you can. You don't want to let him stack that form up early.
Yeah, absolutely. Leashless start for the Volibear. Fighting the top lane.
Oh. Just a little trading. That bonus health from Kled really doesn't, really makes trading in top lane against him kind of unintuitive.
Yeah, that's definitely going to want to be looking for the all-ins.
Oh, yep. Let's see. There's the dismount.
Yeah, big prio for Set here in top lane. So Kane is able to go back and get that Hunter's Talisman. So he's well on his way to his jungle item here.
On the flip side, though, even with his early gold, Set didn't actually get to back and buy anything. He's still just sitting on his shield and pot.
Oh, wow. So yeah, 1k gold lead already for Anarchy Purple here with that early game fiesta. Volibear buff wolves buff, and he was looking for a back maybe here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's. Oh, he didn't get the leash. He's gonna try to force the level 3 off of the. Oh, remount. That remount can be such a problem. Is this gonna be it? Is Kane gonna go down here?
Minions.
Oh, he missed.
Minions.
Oh, but the ignite got him.
Okay.
Wait, not ignite.
Yeah, it was Minions there.
Okay. I saw the bleeding debuff over his head. I wasn't sure what it was gonna be. But
oh yeah, that just comes off of the Kled Q there.
Engage in the bot lane. Nautilus hooks onto the Tom Kench. Kaisa pushing up. There's that gray health popped. Voli looking like he might try to match this, or is he just picking up the crab? Looks like he's probably just picking up that crab. Everybody
Okay.
resets a little bit and goes back to farming their lanes.
Wow, really big trades coming out of the bot lane here from Anarchy Purple. But you know, if you're on, oh, Nautilus might be caught here. Volibear.
Oh. Yeah, there he goes. Flipped, feared, and down he goes. Well,
Yeah.
after a rough start due to a unexpected engage early game invade that didn't go the way they wanted it to, it's looking like things are evening back up. Unfinished Business is pulling things back on a play from their top laner, and then a little bit of an over-aggression from the Nautilus in the bot lane.
Yeah, Nautilus are really well played there, honestly, by BMOS51. Just being in the right place at the right time. He knows that a lot of those summoners were burned on the side of Anarchy. So taking advantage of the fact that Nautilus doesn't have flash there. It's really well played by them.
And their bot lane on the side of Unfinished Business has all of their summoners except for Ignite up still. We might see more action out of them.
Kane's looking for a gank bot, but I think Unfinished Business is just backing here.
I think that would be the right call. It looks like their Jinx is sitting on not quite enough for a BF, so I'm not sure what they're going to get with 1,000 gold, but oh, the ping's out on the dragon here. Are they going to try to rush the dragon on the side of Anarchy, or are they just going to clear it and walk away?
Yeah, looks like contesting vision. I think, honestly, Kai'Sa and Jinx are both scaling champions, but with the Nautilus, I think they can easily take the prio. Oh, top lane.
Another fight going down top lane. Is he going to get the remount? Nope. That time, no remount comes through, and Set manages to punch the Kled into the ground.
He was really close to that remount. I definitely saw what Steve was trying to do there. But yeah, I think you got to build a little bit more distance. You know, Set is pretty much an auto attack champion. He does have some abilities, obviously, but yeah, a little risky there. Playing on the knife's edge.
Yeah. I mean, and all the Kled players, the champion's supposed to be a little bit crazy. I feel like you have to be a little bit crazy to play the champion because
Absolutely.
you constantly have to be walking right on the edge of dead and not.
Yeah, it's really important to decide.
Oh,
as
Kane
you're-
going in bot lane here. Flash forward and the hook out of Nautilus. And the Tom Kench button. Oh, heal comes out from Jinx though. So they got the heal, they got the Devour.
And they got
Looks
the
like
flash.
Tom Kench flashed also, yeah. So a successful gank from Kane. Are they going to try to turn this into a mid lane gank, or are they going to fall back to the dragon? Looks like they're going to clear that vision, maybe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Clap's coming from
Oh.
bot lane. They might be caught here though.
No flash on that Tom Kench. He's going to go down here unless the Jinx arrows. Oh, Galio ult coming in. Lands, but not enough to save Tom Kench. Volibear running forward. Flash forward with the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa in the backline. Kai'Sa getting autoed. Kai'Sa flashes out. Looks like they're going to try to disengage us. Oh, Nautilus hooked too close, but the Blast Cone saves his life. Another trade going down top lane. Looks like they're just going to pull out and reset on the side of Anarchy on the bot side of the map. Kled ult just went down in the top side to try to, I'm assuming, cancel the set E. Oh, dodge the dash forward and the hook. That might be a very dead Kled. Ult out, face breaker out, one more punch flash, and he's down. But on the bot side of the map, we've got Volibear and Jinx taking the dragon after losing one man on the original vision check, but winning the overall trade fight and having the tempo down there.
Yeah, that's really clean play out of Unfinished Business there. You know, unfortunately, Steve-O over-aggresses top a little bit and pays for it, but the rest of the team's able to capitalize on the back timings of Anarchy. Yeah, so despite the priority advantage from the bot lane of Anarchy Purple, Unfinished Business is able to secure their first early Drake. Really well
Yeah,
played.
it was a real nifty little bit of business from them down there. Oh, always sad when you see that hidden reward get caught.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kane placed that one early on, so that they got a lot of value out of that, I think. But I don't know if Volibear transitioned over it at all, but sometimes not seeing the jungler on a ward is as much information as seeing him on a ward.
Very good point.
Checking in on items here, we got the Phage coming in on the set to the Kindle Gem of the Kled. Kled rushing the Black Cleaver, it looks like. Set maybe doing... hard to say at this point, because he's got the Vamp Scepter as well. Blue Smite's coming in for both junglers. And... oh, it's Predator Galio. Got the Predator boots on his Mercury Treads.
That was a real good bit of business by Galio to survive the Syndra ult using the damage reduction off of his taunt.
Oh yeah, really heads up play there by Reckless. Sees the Syndra ult coming through, starts channeling the taunt. Really good heads up play. Looks like he's maybe going for a Protobell first. Ooh.
Engage up in the top lane on the set. The volley's up there. Kane is around there. He was trying to set up vision. The ult comes out. Stun. Oh, he didn't get the face breaker down, but Kane manages to pick up the shutdown on the volley. Or no, volley picks up the sit down on the set. Galio's there. Syndra's up there. Creek might be in a little bit of trouble. Flashes out. And it's just going to be a 1-for-1, but with the set down on the set going over to the volley bear, I think that one's in favor of unfinished business.
Yeah, again, just really good positioning by BMOS here, just being in the right place at the right time, taking advantage of summoner spells being down. Oh, Set's coming in with the
right
TP.
back in. Face breaker, but I think that's going to be all that we get out. Oh, hooked by Nautilus onto the Tahm Kench. Flash is still down, ult out onto the Tahm Kench, but I think he's just going to walk away.
Yeah, you gotta love this non-stop action.
I mean, speak for yourself.
Looks like Set will be going for the Bork. One thing I do want to mention that some people might find interesting is that the Kled Q... oh, engage in the bot lane again.
Oh, there's another grab. There's the... oh, the flash, the remount. Oh, that was clean by Stevo. Let's see if he gets out, though, because he's trying to trade back, but I don't think that he wins at this point in that trade.
Yeah, Set has been able to spend his gold, and he's got a huge gold advantage, so Kled's got 1,000 gold.
Going bot. Is that a Nautilus caught out? Oh, that hook, but I think he might go down anyways, despite the... oh, and the flash out, never mind. Blast cone over the wall. Are they going to try to go for it? Nope. Drops the ward to make sure, and Nautilus, after some real nice play, manages to survive getting caught.
Yeah, clean play by him.
Kled's going crazy up in the top lane. I don't know how he's still there, but I mean, good for him for sticking it out.
Yeah, he's soaking up the XP, but he's unfortunately not going to be able to pick up any of this farm, and Set is definitely capable of diving him. His ult is back up. Kled does not want to be here.
Oh, and there it is. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and down.
Just a big overstay by Stevo there.
His ult was just about to come back up too. Might have wanted to reset and charge back into lane.
Yeah, his TP's almost up too. So
Kane pushing the tempo advantage there, trying to get the Shelly, but Volibear spots him out. Demos runs in, but I think right now he doesn't have the ability to contest that the way that he wanted to.
yeah, Volibear and Kane are even at this point, but Kane has already gotten the transformation, so he's definitely going to be stronger than the Volibear at this point. Warrior Enchant coming in for the Kane. Oh, ships in the night.
Yeah.
For the supports there, but yeah, so.
Looks like they might try to drop this Rift Herald top. Yep, they're going to try to force this top turret. It's going to get top turret for sure.
Yeah, that tower will definitely go down.
Are they going to get the gold off it as they run away? Oh, all of the gold actually went over to Kane there because of the backstep. He got flipped back by Volley into range of the turret gold. The ult heal comes through. Both of them go down. Top turret goes down. That's another huge gold swing in the favor of Anarchy. And vision lines set down around Dragon, but we'll see what they do.
Absolutely. Unfinished business, I'm not able to contest that. I don't think you want to ult in there, Kled. There's no way you save that tower. It's basically already dead at that point. You know, a lot of things had to go right for them there to make that engage work, so one of those, you know, 2080 plays really.
Oh, and Shelly's still going in the top lane. Just took down that second tier turret. They're leaving setup top wall. Something just happened mid lane. Syndra was overstaying. She took a turret shot trying to push Galio off the turret. Got caught somehow there.
Predator Galio. He just Predators in.
This might be a bad fight for Anarchy here. It's a 4v3 at the Dragon Pit. They're taking dragon damage. Down goes Nautilus. Kane's trying to go through the wall. Let's see if he can get this steal off. Or if, no, secured by Volibear. So they're down almost 6k gold, but they're up in dragons at the moment. So there is still a win condition on the side of Unfinished Business here.
Yeah, that was really well played by Unfinished Business. You know, capitalizing on the fact that Reckless was able to get that pick in the mid lane. That just absolutely shut down the Syndra, so they could use that priority advantage and bring, you know, more players to the fight and force the Anarchy off the drag.
Yeah, that was a really, really good pick by the Galio to, after getting pushed into his turret, make something good happen there. Oh, back canceled by the set. Taunt off, Facebreaker down, and that is a dead Galio. This set is just getting too big to handle.
Yes, that is huge right now. He's got the Bork finished, and he has more than enough to... actually, he does not have enough yet, actually, in his inventory, but he will be finishing the Black Cleaver shortly. Checking in on other items, so...
Looks like shenanigans down bot. Seth might be trying to 1v3 here. I think he thought he was going to have the support of his bot lane, but they were both backing because they're too low. Ooh. Burns the flash from Jinx, burns the heal from Jinx. Flashes himself, gets flipped by Volley, Facebreaker down. He might pick up... Oh! Devoured by Tahm Kench, Kled teleports in. And that's a shutdown onto the Tahm Kench off of the set.
Wow. So, yeah, I don't know if Steve-O needed to TP in there. I think it's a little bit of a... Oh! Steve-O's going in.
Oh, manages to stay mounted. That's huge for him to get out of that one. A little bit of over-aggression, but he survives it.
Yeah, so if it had just been the Nautilus, I think he probably could have picked off the Nautilus there, but risk-reward, I mean, I don't even think Nautilus is worth the full 300 gold at this point. Yeah, looking at the gold lead here, it's 6k in favor of Anarchy, and a lot of that is on the set. So Kled is sitting on 4,000 gold total, whereas Set is sitting on 8,000 gold. And then over in the jungle, respected Bigfoot has 6k gold to the 5k gold of BMOS. So big gold lead coming mostly from the top half of the map here, but it's really across the board because even in the mid lane, despite the good play by Reckless, getting the picks on the Syndra,
she's still up about 1,000 gold.
Yeah, still 1,000 gold in favor of Creek.
While we were watching that fight in bot lane, she managed to knock down that mid turret, so that probably helped bolster her a little bit. Oh, up in top lane, looks like Kled might be caught, knocked up, and looks like Bigfoot and Claws are gonna knock down Steve-O here. Oh, nice flash over the wall. He might have just... Oh, never mind. Set's too fast. There's no way.
Yeah. Oh,
that was a really clever little maneuver. He almost lost him, but...
Yeah, Steve-O mechanically seems like he's got this Kled down, but probably needs to work on the decision making a little bit there. He did not have vision to be shoved up that far, so the gank was really easy for Anarchy there. Really well played by Shadow and respected Bigfoot, capitalizing on that.
Yeah.
Another thing I do want to mention, Autumn Gamer is really good on this Tahm Kench, taking full advantage of the Abyssal Voyage, getting some nice flank ganks right there in the bottom lane heat. They picked off the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, for some of the difficulties that Unfinished Business is having in this game, the Tahm Kench is definitely a shining star on this team right now. Hooked in by the Nautilus though and might be going down here. Shield comes through, stone plate, but it's just not enough. That Kane is too big.
Yeah,
Oh, flash flip by the Volibear onto Syndra. Galio ult coming in. Kane ult out. Galio ult just barely hits the set. Looks like a disengage. And everybody walks back to their respective corners to catch their breath.
Yeah, drag coming up here in 30 seconds. It's the Ocean Drake. Unfinished Business do have the dragon advantage, but with 6k gold down, I don't know that they can contest. Anarchy's doing a great job of, you know, systematically breaking this team apart by taking out these outer turrets, and Set's even taken down an...
Steve-O.
Oh, Steve-O.
There's a Set waiting for you there. Oh, but you're fine.
Yep. Joust his way out. I do like the idea of Set, or Kled into Set. Obviously he's got the Joust to dodge the Haymaker as needed, and he's got the Grievous Wounds to slow down the Heart of the Half-Beast passive and the Conqueror that Set usually runs, but he just got too big of an early lead, and he's just been pushing that advantage ever since. Ocean Drake going over to Anarchy.
And that bot lane turret was finally knocked down too. That's what had Steve-O wandering over there in the first place. Set blast cones over the wall to defend a pink ward, but that pink ward's going down, buddy. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like all 5 out on the map, looking around the Baron pit for unfinished business. Kane and Nautilus in a little bit deep. Kai'Sa's still back in base. Creek's on the side. This is a 4v3 right now. Syndra's about to walk around. E comes out of Syndra, knocks everybody up. Ult out onto the Jinx. Oh my goodness. That Syndra ult just deleted the Jinx. Kai'Sa finally gets there. And at this point, I think we're just seeing the gold difference. Flash out to finish that one up. And that's a clean ace off of a fight that started really badly. And all they really got out of it was Set.
Anarchy definitely slapping unfinished business with their gold right now, but honestly, it was a good thought process by unfinished business. You definitely want to fight in that choke point, and you definitely want to fight with a numbers advantage. However, Galio was not with you, and Galio did not have ult. So checking in with your team, making sure that they've got their ults up and cooldown and other cooldowns, really critical to taking these fights when you're at a disadvantage like this. So 10k gold lead now for Anarchy Navy is the result.
And I don't know that they had much of a better fight that they could have picked there. I think that you are right. They needed to wait for that Hero's Embrace, because that's the only way that Jinx is going to survive the Syndra ulti. Creek's just walking up and holding his ulti until he sees that Jinx and deleting her on repeat right now.
Yeah, which is absolutely well played by Creek, because as you noted early on when we were talking about the drafts here, pretty much all they have to do is delete that Jinx and the team fight is theirs. Really well played by Anarchy, identifying that weak point in the draft of unfinished business and taking advantage.
And we were talking about gold leads earlier, and it's starting to look a little bit worse across all lanes. We're starting to hit that 2,000-3,000 gold lead per lane, with the exception of top lane that's sitting up around 5 right now. If you had to figure out a way back into this game for unfinished business, what would it be?
You know, it's got to be through picks. They've got a really solid pick comp here that they, if they want to shift gears and work towards that, between the Kled ult, catching someone overextended like Set right now is really overextended. They see 2 in the bot lane, they know Kai'Sa's mid. They can easily pick this Set if they just rotate over right now.
Let's see, it looks like they might be thinking that, but they're not quite willing to pull the trigger on it yet.
Yeah.
Sweeping come out of the catch. They waited too long. I think at this point they're just going to try to clear some vision and reset as these waves start to hit their turrets.
Yeah, you really got to pull the trigger on that. Oh, Germproof.
Might be caught out there.
Overstepped a little bit, but...
lost about half his health, but it's not the end of the world there.
Nope.
That's your Nautilus. He's a tanky boy.
Yeah, so unfinished business really needs to get some prio in these side lanes just through wave clear. You know, Galio and Jinx can easily clear waves, and then they need to do what they can to find a pick, because you're not going to win a team fight here, and Anarchy Navy's just bleeding you out at this point.
Anarchy Navy doing a good job setting up the 1-3-1. Looks like they might have gone in on that Set finally here. Ults onto the Jinx. Facebreaker in. Oh, that damage is absurd, but the Jinx lives. And they managed to get that pick clean.
Yeah,
lost all their health on everybody, but...
Oof. Set may overstep a little bit, but Anarchy does do a good job of trading. They grab the mid turret, and Syndra's grabbing the bot turret.
Looks like Syndra just disconnected. And came back just in time to die. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. And that was unfortunate timing too, because there was a fight in the mid lane, so Anarchy could not pause, unfortunately.
Well, they lucked out a little bit there. The re-engage from the Galio ult and Kled ult was a little bit premature, and so they were able to back off of it because the rest of the team had to reset. The Jinx and the Tom were still too low from the set kill a second earlier. Let's see if they can parlay that disconnect luck into something more.
Yeah, I think that there was a shutdown on the Syndra too, so that is really unfortunate for Anarchy. But Dragon's coming up here, and Kled has not been able to clear out that top wave in time to make the rotation clean. Oh, he does channel the TP though.
And it looks like Syndra's walking up there, so if they take this fight, it's in their favor, but just not in the position to contest that.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I don't know that they necessarily want to pick that fight when it's in the state of the game that it is, even though Soul might be their best win condition back in this game at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. Ocean Soul on the side of Anarchy is a death sentence for unfinished business. However, on the other hand, it's definitely a way back in for unfinished business. So 2 drags left, drag scores 2-2. Now, obviously, that's a hyper late game scenario. Oh,
Flip, slow onto the Nautilus.
Germproof is
Looks like
definitely
some
caught
slapping.
here.
But the rest of the team doesn't quite see. They were sieging that mid turret with the Kaisa, and so it looks like he's going to be able to walk away. Joins up with the set. Creek on the flank. Let's see if something spicy's about to happen here. Scatter the Weak goes down, and that's a catch onto the Kled. Nautilus is going to go down following it. Facebreaker out, and that's 2 down for Anarchy. And unfinished business looks like they might just be falling apart right to end this one.
Yeah, it's it's a matter of that gold lead and maybe some miscommunications. Because the draft is fine. The lanes obviously didn't go great, but you might be able to count a lot of that on the fact that the early gold advantages were just insurmountable. At least for the Kled, maybe.
Really hard to play the game when you start off down 700 gold as a team.
Yeah, because it is in theory a good matchup for Kled. Again, he's got the grievous wounds on his bear trap on a rope, and he's got the joust, which can help him dodge the haymaker. But yeah, just unfortunate the way the game started out. There were a lot of things that unfinished business could have done to pull this game back, but just the stars are not aligning for them here in this game. So I think if you're unfinished business, you finish this game out. You keep working on these side lanes, keep your head up, and go into game 2, knowing that a lot of things did go right for you here. Doing your best not to tilt, because it is frustrating when everything just seems to be going wrong in the game. But it's important to note that a lot of things did go right this game for them.
A little bit of a cheeky steal by Kane onto the blue buff, but they get engaged on. That's a set into 5. Facebreaker's the Jinx, manages to take him out, but falls himself. Kane's still alive, his ult is out. Bear trap misses. Kane's gonna spin out. Look at all the damage coming out of that Kane though. Kaisa shows up, bear trap down. Kaisa's gonna clean it up with the help of a Scatter the Weak. Triple kill for the Kaisa, and BMOS runs away.
Yeah, so again, the concept here is great from unfinished business, but you have to identify the fact that you don't really have the gold to go for the extended trade there. Killing the set was great. Obviously, you could have killed Jinx probably a little bit better there, but after you kill the set, you have to get out. The rest of the team is on the way, and you see that you've been triple inhibbed. There's no way you can hold your base and get these picks at the same time.
Yeah, I think that was their Hail Mary. I don't think that it was the worst Hail Mary. I think that they did need to try to keep the Jinx alive, because trading set for Jinx is going to work just fine as far as Anarchy is concerned.
Minions. I think that's going to be all she wrote.
And that looks like that's the end of that one. So I'm going to put it to you. What do you want to see changed on the side of unfinished business going into the next game?
So if I'm unfinished business here, the thing that I'm talking about in between the games is making the fights work for us, right? So picking the fights that work for your team. There were a lot of opportunities that they missed out on, maybe because They didn't feel confident enough to go for the picks, but I mean, you saw it right there at the end. Despite the set having a 6K gold lead at the end, they are still able to pick them off. Again, you got to peel for that jinx if this is going to be your team comp. But yeah, they had the early Drakes. Despite having that early disadvantage, they just needed to play it slow and scale. If you look at what Anarchy Navy or Anarchy Purple, sorry, did here, they systematically picked this team apart and broke into the 1-3-1 because of their gold advantage. When a team goes 1-3-1, you either have to stall with your wave clear or make picks on the side lanes. Really well played by Anarchy here. They didn't lose a single tower the whole game.
I would agree with you there. I think that the gold leads just got a little bit insurmountable, and when that happens, there's just not a whole lot you can do, especially when the 1-3-1's that strong. So, what did you like out of Anarchy Navy? We talked about their systematic play. I thought that was beautiful. Any other like real strong thumbs up you had for them?
Anarchy Purple did have, so again, just playing to their win condition, I think was fantastic. They knew that they had the advantage. They knew they were ahead. They picked their fights. Even when they were getting caught out, it seemed like they were still picking their fights, which is really great. I mean, you see that, like, again, like we talked about earlier, the coordination was just on point. Maybe Shadow overstepped a little bit. At one point, he did get picked off when he was when they were in the 1-3-1, but Anarchy was still able to convert and get some towers out of it. So just really clean play out of Anarchy here.
All right, so I have my own thoughts on Ace and MVP, but I want to hear yours first. Let's start off with the Ace for unfinished business.
So Ace, I think I'm going to give to Reckless here. I've never seen Predator Galio personally, but he played it really well. He had some really clean ultimates that I think were key to turning the game around. I think that if you're unfinished business, you definitely want to look to run a comp similar to this again, as long as you can get that Galio. But it's important to try to pick your fights.
I think I liked the Galio. I think that the Galio sometimes is stuck going forward, and it made it a little bit difficult for them to pick their fights as well. So I'm going to give it on the unengaged button. I think Tom Kench had the ace in that game. Just did so much to try to keep holding them in that game when things were starting to slip away, saved so many lives, made so many good flanks early before they were stuck playing from behind. I got to say, I think Autumn Gamer gets my ace for this one.
That's a great point.
And then MVP, I'm stuck between two. I'm interested to hear what you think.
Same, actually. I think I have to give it to Respected Bigfoot. He just played one hell of a game. Obviously didn't die, but just really clean. You know, the early invade obviously went their way, but he just kept pushing his advantage. You know, they did lose the early Drakes, but I think that was just a result of them, looking to pick their fights. So I think I give it to Respected Bigfoot.
I was going back between Shadow Claws and Respected Bigfoot. I think that Shadow Claws imposed his will on that whole game and really was driving it. But I think that when you have that game where you just don't die, you're all over the map, you're killing people, you're making plays, I gotta agree with you. I gotta go with the Kane Respected Bigfoot on that one. Just kind of took that game over.
Absolutely. All right. Looking forward to game 2.
Yeah, so looking forward to game 2. Looking forward to see Anarchy Purple do more of the same. I think that they controlled that really well, and we just want to see them try to roll that out again. I'd like to see a little bit more flexing out of unfinished business. They had a good idea, but I'd like to see a little bit more damage and a little bit more disengaged so that they can pick their fights a little bit better.
Definitely.
All right, Roscoe, we're back with game two. We talked a little bit about what we wanted to see from the teams last time. Let's look at what they decided to change up with their picks this time. We obviously still don't have pro drafts, so we don't know how the bans shifted. But I'm going to guess, if I had to, that Set did not make it through ban phase this time around.
Yeah, it's looking like it. We do see like almost completely different teams out of both squads here.
Clearly, the Syndra on Creek, Bemos' Volibear, ripped old Volley, the Jinx in the bot lane. Those were kind of the things that it looks like they put a lot of that value on, wanted to keep. I think all of those looked good. I'm interested to see the Ornn versus Gnar matchup in the top lane.
Yeah, I think that's Gnar favored because Gnar is a notorious tank buster. Plus the range advantage will be clean. So gonna look to see Shadow Claws take some really. Oh, this is Conqueror Ornn.
Oh, that'll be real interesting.
That is interesting. I wonder if that's a goof on the runes or because typically Ornn you'll see either the grasp, the occasional aftershock, and even less frequently the summoner spellbook. So Conqueror is not one I'm familiar with.
And to catch all you up watching that maybe don't get to see the picks that we have right now because we don't have that pro draft up. We've got Shadow Claws in the top lane on Ornn, Respected Bigfoot playing the Sejuani Boar Rider. We've got Creek back on the Syndra, Nico Nya on Ashe, Germproof on the Nami. And then on the side of Unfinished Business, Stevo in the top lane playing Gnar, Bemos playing Volibear again, Reckless is on Orianna this time, Midnight Heart playing Jinx, and Autumn Gamer breaking out the Senna.
Yes. So front to back team fight comps coming out of both squads. A little bit more pick potential on the side of Anarchy here. But both teams are really going to want to. I mean, there's great front lines out of both these squads, and really strong back lines out of both as well. So there's a bit of a disengage and engage advantage, I think, on the side of Anarchy.
I think that Anarchy flipped the script for this one a little bit, and they picked more of that team fight front to back comp that we saw out of Unfinished Business last game. I don't think that they're going to be able to 1-3-1 the same way on this team. It doesn't have that same cohesiveness to pull that off. However, the utility and the front to back fight on this Anarchy squad is going to be huge. On the side of Unfinished Business, I think they did exactly what we asked for. They pulled out some more damage. They switched up the Galio for the Orianna. They pulled out a little bit more flexibility and engage from the Gnar, gives them the ability to go in, out, still has that CC and that engage skill. I like what they did with the draft.
Yeah, it's really, again, we don't really know what was banned out, but we do definitely see Unfinished Business identifying some of the weak points of their last comp and adapting to that, which is really great to see in a series like this.
I agree. And as far as ball delivery services go, Gnar and Volibear are definitely going to be good ones. And the Senna Shroud hiding that Volibear charging in could make for a really, really interesting mechanic if somebody pulls that off.
Absolutely. Definitely want to look to see some of those clean, sneaky, cheeky ganks coming out of this Unfinished Business squad, if possible.
So what do you say? Win conditions for this game? I think on the side of Anarchy, they've just got to use those fancy orange trinkets, scale, team fight, and win. What do you think for for Unfinished Business? What do they got to do this game?
Unfinished Business, actually looking to do this exact same thing. They do have I think a nice mid-game team fight with some late-game insurance in the Jinx. So I think they've really put together a comp that is going to do really well throughout the game. So it's just going to be looking at taking advantage of their comp, playing to their style, and making sure to pick their own fights. Don't let Anarchy make you fight. Pick your fights.
I think that's a really, really good thing, kind of to say to everybody who plays this game and is trying to work on climbing and getting a little bit better. Pick your fights. If you aren't setting it up, it's okay to be reactive sometimes, but that's not normally in your favor.
Yeah, so if Anarchy's getting to these drags first, you just want to let that drag go. It's not your drag. Obviously, that changes as as the game progresses. But if they beat you to the drag, find a way to get to the drag first next time. So gonna definitely want to see Unfinished Business looking to pick their fights this game.
All right, well, I think that does a pretty good job of breaking down what we're looking at going into this game. Let's load onto the Rift and see how it plays out. All right. Looks like we got pings coming out all over the place again. Red looks like they might not want to invade this time. It looks like they're trying to set up that 5 point instead of clumping in the tri-bush.
Yeah, that's a fair point. They were burned last game, so the 5 point is always the safest option. However, this time they have a much stronger engaged team, so I think they would have been better off this time if they wanted to go for it.
I think it's still kind of iffy because you don't start Q on Volley, so you don't have that CC versus the Nami and the Sejuani. Oh, here is an engage onto Stevo though.
Oh.
Is he gonna have to? Oh, he takes jump first. That's gonna make the beginning of that lane a little bit tricky.
Yeah, it is unfortunate to have to take the jump first, but good on him for holding on to his first skill. That's really good. Yeah, that's something that you don't really see out of a lot of low elo players, but really heads up play by Stevo there, just recognizing that he could be in danger. Saves him his flash early.
That's a really good point. And against that Orin Sejuani, if they're trying to set up a regank there, losing your flash early would be real rough.
Yeah, definitely.
Nami wandering around in the red side jungle gets that ward down onto the wolves. Anarchy has some beautiful deep vision set up right now.
Yeah, that was
business jungle.
That was honestly a little risky out of germ proof there, but it's gonna pay off. They're gonna know exactly where BMOS is going on this Volibear. So we're gonna look to see Respected Bigfoot take advantage of that and either meet Volibear at where he's going for ganks, or gank on the opposite side of the map and just look to play safe on the side that Volibear's on.
I think early game the trade advantage goes to Volley, but after about level 4 or 5, if it's even, it's gonna depend on the lane that Sejuani's ganking.
Yeah, Sedge is going to have a lot more reliable CC, although pretty much only top because that's the only melee. So one thing when you do pick the Sejuani is you do want to make sure that you have at least 2 melees, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, big trade going bot lane. Big bubble out of germ proof.
That bubble
and that's
is
some
huge.
heavy chunking down there. We got Volley going blue, Gromp to buff. Sedge went buff to buff and is trying to pull something off level 2. Looks to try to invade this. Depending on if he's... Oh, there's the smite down. This is bad for Sejuani.
Oh,
Let's
yeah, level 3 Volley.
Level 3 Volley. Oh, just walks away. All right. The collapse looks like it's coming down on the Sedge. But discretion is the better part of valor sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Gnar does not have prio in that top lane, so I think BMOS was really smart there to play that slow. Because, Sejuani definitely in a very risky scenario there, but it's just as risky for Volibear if Gnar is not...
Volley looking for the gank up top. The dash away from Orin. Cancels out the Q damage. That was really well played by Shadow Claws. Volley passive busted, some healing coming out, stun from the Meganar. Volley flips, stuns. Oh, the flash. They managed to pick up first blood, but Sejuani's in there. Looks like he's gonna drop the Volibear and trade. And we've got a jungler going down for a top laner. I think advantage to that actually goes over to Unfinished Business. I think that's exactly what they want to be happening there. I think it's more important to keep that Ornn slow scaling.
Absolutely, and BMOS does get the first blood there too, so the first blood going over to Unfinished Business is really nice. The only thing they really lose there is the flash on Volley and his buffs, which, obviously that sucks. It's going to make his clear a little bit slower, but he does get his blue smite right away, so...
And the upside to that, Respected Bigfoot spot out, but he manages to get the stun down, sets up, what a beautiful gank on the mid lane. Despite being spot out, the Sejuani manages to pull it off. And the other thing we didn't talk about is they managed to turn it around and go 1-for-1 up in the top lane, but it cost all the summoners of both top and jungle, whereas it only cost the flash of BMOS. So Stevo's actually sitting on TP and flash advantage right now in the top lane.
Yeah, which speaking of that, he's overstayed here.
Oh, but the flash that he didn't use earlier saves him, and the bully's coming for the return gank.
Oh, Steve-O baiting out. Oh no.
But he got a little too greedy and ate the Q, and I don't know if Volley gets this. He does not. He falls back. So a good return gank by Volley, but a little bit of extra greed makes that trade not go in the favor of Unfinished Business.
Yeah, I think Unfinished Business still could have pulled that play off if Steve-O had just backed and used his TP sooner. So now Ornn gets really an unforced error, I'll say, out of Unfinished Business there.
Oh, trade in the bot lane. Oh, the Senna snare lands, but do they walk up? They do. Oh, but the Nami bubble saves them. Heal out of Ashe, exhaust down onto the Ashe, and Ignite is out. Both bot lanes. The only summoners up are the flashes on the side of Anarchy Navy and the flash for the Senna. Another great Nami bubble. Germproof is going off on the Nami this game already.
Yeah, the bubbles out of Germproof are single-handedly making this lane super easy for them. So they have a 20 CS lead right now on the side of Nico at 5 minutes. That is enormous. To put that in perspective, it's a 400 gold lead right now for the Ashe.
Oh, trading up in top lane. Steve-O hit level 6 first because of the TP and the wave control, but it looks like he's just going to walk out after chunking the Ornn down to half. They don't have vision on that Sejuani, and he's just playing it smart. Well, now they have vision on the Sejuani down in bot lane. Yeah. So Volley's in the jungle, stealing away that Gromp. Those are the high-value camps in the jungle. Gromp and Krug's worth more experience than buff camps, for those who didn't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, checking in on items here. Ashe is sitting on 1,400 gold to the 1,100.
Oh, the snare from the Senna. The Volley's going in. Flash forward out of Senna. Senna looks like Senna manages to survive by hiding in the shroud, and the kill goes over to Midnight Heart. Oh my goodness, what a play out of Autumn Gamer.
Yeah, that was huge. Oh, another engage out of the Gnar top.
But the Ornn canceling with that Unstoppable is on point lately. Shadow Claws with some really, really good CC denial.
Yeah. Autumn Gamer, though, coming in so clutch there. You know, I thought it was a little bit aggressive to flash like that, but Autumn Gamer clearly has limit tested this champion and knows that...
Creek trading onto Reckless. Reckless is going to drop here to the Syndra ulti. Stayed around a little long with not enough mana to shield. And that Syndra level 6-7 is just something that you can't really ever match up into favorably. Oh, Sejuani in a bad spot, trying to get some vision out in the jungle. Senna's right there. The stun goes out onto the Volibear, but they manage to disengage, courtesy of Creek walking over to cover for his jungler.
Yeah, getting some priority there by respected Bigfoot to get the some vision down. You know, he knows that Orianna's dead and no TP on the Ori, so he feels real safe going for that that vision. Really, really well played by Anarchy.
Ult out of Steve-O, but Ornn dashes away, disregards. The slap fight up top continues.
Yeah, Gnar's ults. I think it was like 3 patches ago or something like that. It was pretty recent. Got that really big buff for the cooldown, so he can pretty much ult on Mega Transformation basically.
Was a really good. Oh, Ashe Arrow out because they hit level 6 first. Hits the Jinx. Bubble out of the Nami, stops the Shroud from saving her, but it might save her anyways. Root from the Senna comes out, heal from Nami. Senna just deals so much damage for a champion that's not good support. Oh, and in the mid lane, the Volibear dive. They managed to pick up Creek, but at the cost of the jungler. And the top lane trading continues. Sejuani in the mid lane with the ult. And it looks like the Orianna might go down here. Oh, phase rush, but not quite. The flail still smacks her head in.
Wow. Yeah, speaking of champs that deal way too much damage, Sejuani damage is huge.
Oh, Ornhorn comes out trying to trade with Steve-O. Steve-O manages to walk out of it, but he walks back up in a slightly aggressive path. The flash forward from the Ornn gives him the smack, and the Ornn hammer comes down on Steve-O's head. The Nami ulti just barely catches Jinx in the bot lane, followed up by a beautiful bubble. Zapper misses, Ignite out, Snare misses, Ashe manages to get one off. 2 off, not quite enough damage, and the Jinx manages to survive again. Midnight Heart, just playing with our hearts.
Yeah, again, Germproof. I don't know if Germproof has missed a single bubble this whole game. Maybe a little bit miscommunication there, because Germproof was, again, looking for the bubble, but Nico a little bit on the back foot there, just trying to pick up the CS. It's not the end of the world, you know, they still have a big gold advantage in the bot lane here. Still maintaining that 400 gold. Looks like Ashe is going for the Triforce build with the Halo Blades. Pretty strong build. It has a much earlier power spike than traditional Ashe builds, which are more late game oriented. So with that in mind, it looks like Anarchy Purple are looking to play to this early game advantage that they developed for themselves. You know, only 1,000 gold at this point. But yeah, looking at other items here, BF Sword on the Jinx, plus 600 gold in inventory. Lethality item coming out for Autumn Gamer, probably going to be, can't remember the name of it. Oh wow.
Oh, the halberd looking thing that does vision for
Yes,
Senna.
Umbral Glaive, that's it.
There we go.
Umbral Glaive. Lost chapters for both mid laners, but Creek is well on his way to the Ludens.
Flash out of the top lane. Steve-O just had to flash away from the Orin pillar, and looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble. Manages to hop away. Missed in the earlier discussion. Ocean Drake goes over to Sejuani and the side of Anarchy Purple, courtesy of all of the massive pressure being put out by this bot lane. They managed to push them off and walk right up and transition that into a dragon.
Oh yeah, they sure did. I think my client might be bugged because I don't even see the drag on their scoreboard. That's okay.
A little bit of fighting by the mid laners over some vision. Volibear's in position. Does he see the pink? Oh, walks right over that pink ward. He's going to try to gank, but Creek knows he's coming. Goes back for the pink ward.
On the way.
Nami's coming up. Sejuani's there. But because the Nami walked up, they managed to get some damage out onto the Ashe. Volibear's coming. Oh, what a bubble again. Out of Germproof to disengage. Demos runs in, flips up the Nami, manages to get the stun, ults out, bite. And there goes the fall down to the Jinx. Get excited, because Jinx is on a roll, but not quite enough damage to take down the Ashe.
Yes,
Up in top lane, Steve-O barely survives.
Yeah, Steve-O, you need to back here, bud. You got teleport. You don't need to overstay. But really good heads-up play by Autumn Gamer and Midnight Heart. They see that BMOS has position in the river, and they take it full advantage of the fact that Nami and Ashe had split up a little bit there to try to collapse as well. Then they just capitalize on that big damage trade that they had.
Volley sees the Sejuani here setting up for the play. They might try to collapse right here. They've got preferential movement. The Sejuani boar charges out of the stun, but gets grabbed by the Volley anyways. First bubble I've seen miss, and that is a dead boar and boar rider, but the Ashe is here. Volley might not be able to run away, might be going down also. Oh, but
the passive
healing. Oh, but the Ashe arrow touches the Senna out. Autumn Gamer with the flash. Still trying to escape. Autumn Gamer goes down, but she managed to save Bemos. The jungler manages to walk away. What a selfless support, sacrificing herself to save the jungler.
Yeah, really, wow. Good.
And Steve-O went down in the top lane.
Oof.
Under turret.
Yeah, just sticking around way too long. He's, you know, he had tons of money in inventory. He had the teleport. If you back there, like right away after that that first big trade from Shadow. Oh, he TP's in.
Icy TP in. I don't know that he wins this at all though, so I'm not sure that he wants this fight.
No, he missed the boomerang too.
The trade's fairly even, but that's not really in his advantage, I don't think, unless
Well,
he's gonna hop forward here and get Mega, but looks like Shadow Claws is just gonna walk away. Sejuani roaming up to set up the Rift Herald or to set up the gank, I'm not sure which. Looks like Ornn building an item in the bush, while the bot lane continues to push in. Sejuani behind Stevo, but board charge cancels the hop, and that is a dead Gnar. Oh!
Oh, the
maybe
Senna
not.
ult!
The Senna ult saves him. Vivos gets up there just in time to flip the Sejuani back under turret, and they manage to actually turn it around, but a little over-aggression, and the shutdown onto Orange. But the Ori flash ult, Ornn is caught under the turret, and Ori, off the beautiful roam by Reckless, manages to finally knock down that Ornn. A lot committed, a lot of people roaming up into that top lane for it. But that's the best I think that Unfinished Business could have hoped for with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it could have been even better if Stevo had instead hopped away from the Ornn there, but the end result is still overall positive, I'll say. You get a lot of gold funneled onto your Orianna there is the result, which Ori is a big win condition here for Unfinished Business.
Well, and that Ori was about 1,000, 1,500 gold behind until getting that big shutdown off of the Ornn.
That is very true. Yeah, so that gold lead in the mid lane has been shrunk a little bit. Now it's only 500 in favor of Creek. Creek's sitting on 2k gold, 2.5k gold now actually. Should be looking for a back timing here shortly.
Only sitting on the parts of the Luden's Echo rather than the whole completed Luden's Echo that Orianna's sitting on. So right now, the strength advantage is actually in favor of Reckless in that mid lane right now. Although, given the way that he's been ulted, he might not know that.
That is true, and yeah, there's a 2k. Well, it's about 1.5k gold now for Anarchy here, but a lot of that gold is sitting in Syndra's pocket right now. So
ooh, Reckless walked up and manages to dodge the Nami ult. Good tapping, and the Orianna ult to disengage. Very, very well played by Reckless in the mid lane. Manages to dodge out an ult and only spent his own to disengage a 1v3. But Stevo's caught and flashes away from the Rift Herald. Sejuani and Ornn are on the Rift Herald while Orianna and Voli fight Nami and Syndra in the mid lane. Flash out of Creek to escape. Stevo jumps forward with the boomerang. And Anarchy pulls off of the Rift Herald to send their two big tanks mid. Ashe in a bad position. Nico manages to flash out. The Ornn Horn is out, however. Knocks up the Senna. They're getting this collapse slowly but surely down. The Jinx traps come out to peel.
Oh no.
Gnar goes over the wall and Autumn Gamer manages to escape. Oh, but the ult and the board charge over the wall. Stevo standing a little bit too close to the wall for his own good. And this one's still going. Autumn Gamer gets caught by the Ashe arrows. That slow makes those long extended fights significantly in the favor of Anarchy. And it looks like they're gonna take this dragon after knocking down two.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication maybe there for Unfinished Business because it started out so well for them. You know, they had the potential to pick Ashe and I believe Nami as well, but after the pick failed, they kind of split up, which is where Anarchy absolutely snapped the trap shut with the Ornn Horn, you know, committing to that funnel or the choke point fight, and Stevo gets picked off, and it's all she wrote for Unfinished Business.
And the other thing I think that they got to be a little bit more careful about on the side of Unfinished Business is not fighting when that Orianna ult is down. Orianna had ulted herself to save herself from that 1v3 earlier in that real slick escape, so they really didn't want that big team fight at that particular time.
Yeah.
Stevo trading with the Ornn, trying to deny the Rift Herald, but Ornn just walks up, keeps fighting him. Sejuani's there. Stevo a little too far forward. Now he knows that the Syndra's there, but she scatters the weak back onto the Beamos, but the Volibear's just too tanky. Passive pops, runs away. Gnar walks back up, stuns the Syndra. Creek caught out a little bit too far forward. Full Gnar combo down, but the Scatter the Weak manages to save her life. War Charge comes over the wall. Stevo chasing down the Syndra, dodges the Sejuani ult. Orianna on the backside. Jinx Rocket hits the Sejuani. Stevo trying to pick a target. They managed to knock down the Sejuani with that last chasing auto from Orianna.
Taking away auto from Reckless there, really. So yeah, that's the result of when you pick your fights. Really well played by Unfinished Business. Oh, but we got a fight in the bot lane too.
But the flash out of Jinx prevents the Nami bubble from landing, and that's going to be a disengage, although the turret does go down.
Yeah, because despite the gold advantage on the side of Anarchy, you saw what happened at the Dragon when they did not pick their fight. But over at the Rift Herald, they do pick their fight and they're able to capitalize.
Horn out, Steve-O fighting, and Shadow Claws knocks down the Gnar again.
Yeah, so 8k gold on Shadow Claws here to the 5k gold on Steve-O. Really big gold deficit in top lane yet again. 87 CS to 134 on the Ornn. I think if you're Unfinished Business, you got to find a way to get this Gnar out of the side lane. Ornn is not a huge split pusher. Granted, he does have Demolish. But if you can set up a big wave pushing into the Ornn, granted he does have a lot of wave clear, that will slow him down and you can look for a fight on the opposite side of the map.
Oh, Rift Herald summoned mid. They've got 2 up top lane, 3 rotating towards the mid. They've definitely got priority here on the mid. Cinder Scatter of the Weak does not connect on the Orianna. They managed to knock down the Rift Herald, only losing that second tier mid turret. But the Sejuani is in behind the team. Steve-O and Autumn Gamer caught out under this first turret. Sejuani behind, Respected Bigfoot gets flipped. They're trading onto him, but the rest of the team from Anarchy Navy's there. And it looks like they're just going to dive this turret. The Volibear just beating the Ashe. Volibear manages to take down the Ashe. Manages to also take down the Sejuani. Jinx ult comes through. And all of the healing, they lose the turret, but they take 2 down for it because the Volibear is just beating people.
Yeah, that was massive by BMOS there. Excuse me.
I think the Ori healing off of BMOS, or the Ori healing, the passive healing off of BMOS means that they might need some healing reduction on the side of Anarchy if they want to be able to kill that Volibear.
Yeah, Volley just using he's slapping him with his stats here, because yeah, he's got the armor, so he had no trouble with the Ashe there, only having the Triforce. She's not going to be much of a tank killer there, so that's really heads up play by BMOS there, but the fight was really split from Unfinished Business there. I don't know if it was communication or what, but you had the Autumn Gamer and Steve-O fighting the Ornn Nami, and BMOS taking the remaining 2 in the Sedge and the Ashe. Really well played.
And this is the only problem with that Triforce build for the Ashe, is if you got to cut tanks, you're not going to cut it.
Yeah, there's no way. Especially in the really the 2-on-1 scenario, but the 1-on-1 that there's no way that Ashe kills this Volibear.
Vision lines being set up around this dragon here. All 5 are there. Nami ult goes out. It looks like they might have caught out the Orianna. Sedge ult, Nami bubble, Nami ult. Orianna manages to survive, but Creek goes on a rampage, knocking down
Creek on the
Gamer.
flank.
The Ornn Horn comes out, and everybody's falling. Another bubble lands out of Germ Proof, and the Nami pulls the trigger. The Sejuani catches the Ori, and the only person to survive is Ori walks away on the back end of that fight. Another dragon going over to the side of Anarchy Purple.
Yeah, that was a clean 4-for-0 trade from Anarchy there. If you're Unfinished Business, you definitely do not want to be fighting in a choke point like that. I know the thought process there is that, well, you know, Shockwave does best in choke points and Gnar does best in choke points, but so does Nami's Nami ult and Ornn ult are going to be huge in this.
Scatter the Weak.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and Creek with a huge flank there, picking off Autumn Gamer, and then just absolutely decimating the backline of Unfinished Business.
Looks like a walk over to the free Baron here for Anarchy Navy.
Yeah, Anarchy transitions into the Baron.
And then looks like a full reset coming out.
Yeah, 8K gold lead in favor of Anarchy purple here. Wow, checking in on items, Syndra has completed Death Cap and Luden. So the early Death Cap, not 100, not the most efficient buy, but when you're this far ahead and you've got an Ornn on your team, it's pretty huge. Oh no, the
Wrong.
unfortunate item slot.
Luden upgrade.
Yes, I think you prefer the Death Cap upgrade there, but I think it has to be in your first slot. Correct me if I'm wrong for that.
To my knowledge, it has to be set up in the first slot, so there might have just been a miscommunication about when to upgrade that.
Yeah,
And
so
that makes the prioritization of not getting that healing reduction a little bit unfortunate.
yeah. So a little bit of a goof. It's not gonna, and that's not gonna result in too much punishment. I mean, obviously the Syndra's still huge, but Orianna going for a Leandri's Torment. It looks like Jinx has finished the Infinity Edge and building into a Bork next. I think you probably want attack speed, which the Bork will provide, so that's going to be good, and it's going to give Jinx the ability to shred some tanks.
Engage going down mid. It looks like they're going to try to pick up mid because they realize that there's a 2v1 going on up at the top lane with their Gnar. Ults come out of the Orianna. The Sedge ult goes wide, and they're trying to get this chase down. The Chunks down. They might manage to pick up. There goes Sejuani goes down. Jinx gets excited, but the slows just managed to
Double
stall
TP
it.
coming in.
Double TP coming in. Creek on the backside. Autos. Scatter the weak misses because of the flash. Oh my god, that Syndra's massive. Popped Midnight Heart with just one skill, and the Ash Arrow connects to secure the
Sniped.
fate of Autumn Gamer. Great play by Unfinished Business. Just a little bit too far behind to manage to convert.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge shockwave out of Reckless there, and you saw just not a ton of damage coming out of it, unfortunately, just because of the gold deficit, really. In an even game state, I think Orianna just one-shots the backline there, but Creek again walking into the flank untouched. I think they have to start really focusing down this Syndra. Syndra's absolutely massive right now.
But I don't even know how you get onto that Syndra at this point. You've got that huge beefcake line of the Ornn and the Sejuani up front, and Syndra wasn't even in that fight until the double TP.
Very true. Yeah, I think as long as Syndra, all Syndra really has to do right at this point is walk up and press R.
Oh! Creek gets outplayed by a beautiful move by Reckless. Goes in for the scatter the weak into the ult, but Reckless flashes and manages to ult him back onto the turret. The Volibear picks him up and flips him back under. Just what you were asking for happened. The Syndra got caught. Bemo's trying to chase him down. They managed to pick up the Ashe as well. Unfinished Business might be down, but they are not going quietly into the dark.
Absolutely, clawing their way back into this game. So yeah, I think a little bit's maybe an understatement of an overstep from Creek there. Going for the one shot on the Orianna, but a beautiful shockwave completely negates that engage, and they're able to cleanly pick off Creek there. Big shutdown going over to Volibear, I think there. So he's just going to be getting beefier and beefier.
And really, with the way that these team fights are playing out, Voli's the one that you need, who needs to be big and beefy. You need to get that gold on that Jinx, you need to get it on the Ori, and you need to get it on the Voli, because he's the only one who's not going to die instantly to these fed carries on the side of Anarchy Purple.
Oh, no, they split.
Oh, Autumn Gamer caught. There comes the ult, but going down to the Sejuani, and Germproof picks it up with the heal.
Yeah, I think if they stick together there, they're able to fight their way out of that scenario, but Ashe was right around the corner, so
Ornhorn comes out. They're trying to steal the dragon, but on the back end, Ornn is taking up both of them. Oh, Bemos manages to run in and take the dragon. I don't know if he outsmited. The Sejuani didn't have smite. Smite was on cooldown from the catch of Autumn Gamer. So Bemos runs in, sacrifices his life to deny the soul, and Reckless and Midnight Heart were just stuck fighting that giant Ornn in the back line, but neither of them go down. They managed to keep him occupied, allowing Bemos to charge in and do his Volibear thing.
It is the small things at this point, but I don't know if you want to give up your Volibear for that drag even at this point, because the result now is a 5v4 scenario.
And that's all she wrote, I think. I think the Nami ult into the Ashe ult might have just sealed the deal for this game. Anarchy Purple doesn't want to take any chances. They're going to push it right through the inhibitor. They're walking over to those super minions. It's Creek and Bemos, or it's Reckles and Bemos versus the world. They're trying, but it's 5v2, and that's going to be all she wrote.
Yeah,
Anarchy
really well.
Purple playing exactly to their win condition.
Yeah, really well played. You know, the Ornn was so big there at the end that he was able to stay in the side lane, no problem whatsoever, which was really critical to their just peeling this team apart. You know, keeping the Volibear or the Gnar occupied in that side lane was really huge, because the Volibear was getting really big. So if you're able to pull off any one member of this team, the team comp of Unfinished Business just starts to fall apart there.
Yeah, that one was a rough one. I think that we saw a lot of really good things out of Unfinished Business. They managed to pull back a couple of times when it looked like things were slipping away from them. But all in all, Anarchy Purple with a dominating control of the game from start to finish, heavily driven by that bot lane and that Ornn up in the top lane. Who are you going to give MVP to this game?
This game, I think the MVP does have to go to Shadow Claws. He absolutely shut down Stevo for a second game in a row, and I think the game just snowballs from there. You know, Sejuani had a, you know, I think she went even with Volibear for most of the game, but Volibear picked up a lot of kills. So I think I got to give it to Shadow Claws in the top lane.
I think Shadow Claws on that Ornn was an absolute monster, but my pick for MVP that game is gotta be Germ Proof. Those bubbles early game, that insane pressure that they had in the bot lane, just allowed them to scale, let that Sejuani get ahead, let them take those early dragons, and all game, those Nami ults and those Nami bubbles were just so on point that I don't think that there was a whole lot of opportunity to even get close to tickling that Ashe.
That is actually a really good point. Yeah, Nami with like the 100% bubble hit ratio up to like 15 minutes or something insane like that, and the really clean ults coming from Germproof there.
And then my ace has got to be Reckless in this game. I think Bemos is a close runner-up as far as I'm concerned, but Reckless just with some amazing ults to try to save the game from behind. I think if that game states a little bit more even, a lot of those flip that game a little harder than they did. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that.
No, I completely agree, because yeah, Bemos played a hell of a game again, you know, back-to-back pretty solid games on the Volibear, but Reckless really was the way back into this game. Unfortunately, Unfinished Business just too far behind to make anything happen out of those really good ultimates.
I like all of that. I think my message to Unfinished Business going forward is you like to fight, so think early game. If you want to skirmish and you want to do all this fighting, you want team comps that are going to work for that early. And if you're picking all of these late game scaling comps, you're going to keep losing those early trades to teams that have a more mid game oriented play style. And I think that we saw that in a big way in this game with Anarchy Purple's mid game team fight approach to this draft.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
All right, and I believe with that, we're going to be taking a short intermission as we get ready to jump into our next set of games, which are going to be the Dandelion Knights versus another Anarchy team, Anarchy Navy. We're jumping up a couple of divisions to the Shurima division, so these should be some wild games.
Yeah, super pumped to watch this game.